Hi guys, welcome to Sharad's Lunchbox. On today's episode, I've got the founders of Nurse Next Door. They're going to talk to us about their branding, their company culture, and a whole lot more. More to come with Nurse Next Door right after this.
When my wife came back from Toronto, got a phone call from her doctor who said Tina had to be put on emergency bed rest. And John and I were pretty busy at the time looking to build a company or buy a company. We didn't have time to take care of Tina. And so we went through the yellow pages and we looked for some home care help. And something really scary happened. I asked the lady who showed up at her house, what do you think about the business? Do you like the people that you work for? Do they treat you well? And she looked at me with a straight face and said, I don't really know. I faxed in my resume yesterday and they told me to show up here. I've never seen anyone at the company. And so that was a pretty scary moment. At the same time, John was actually looking for help for his grandmother. Needed a lot of help as well. And so John and I sort of looked at each other and said, wow, there might be an opportunity here.
Well, it was fascinating when we launched the company. We bootstrapped it. So Ken and I literally bought 2 cell phones. We used an Excel spreadsheet to run the business, and we used our local Starbucks as our head office right up the street in Kerrisdale. And that's how we started the business. And we did every single job in the company. We scheduled, we did payroll and billing. Ken tried to be a caregiver a couple times, didn't succeed at it too well, but we learned what our strengths were. And for me, a year into the business, we were growing pretty fast. I got a phone call out of the blue, and my dad was my best friend all my life. And this phone call came in, and it said that Dad had 2 months to live. Died from diagnosis in 1 day to 2 months to live in 1 day, and it rocked my world. So I, along with my family members, became a caregiver for my dad 24/7 for the 2 months that he survived, and he died exactly at the 2-month mark. And it was that experience of caregiving where I realized that we actually provide as much value and as much comfort and peace of mind to the family members as much as we do to the actual client. And for me, that's when this company turned into a passion for me. That's when it became a purpose for me, and I had been searching for a real purpose-driven company for a long time. I had a background in technology and venture capital, and I got to a point with what I was doing, I wasn't living my purpose. And I took a few years off to search for that company that could do it. So we started Nurse Next Door, and it was at that point where I got that phone call and had to care for my dad myself. That's when this business turned into a purpose for me. And Ken and I, in the first 4 years of this business, we were one of the fastest growing companies in the country. So it was really at that, for us, that 4-year mark, we woke up one day, we had 1,000 employees. I mean, we realized we had a real company, and we really had something here. And I think at that point, we went from just building a fast growth company to looking at it to say, we've done that. Can we actually build a world-class company? We've always had our purpose of making lives better. From day one, it's why people were attracted to be here. It's our why, it's why we exist. But one day in our time of hypergrowth, Ken and I walked into the office and literally at the same time looked at each other and we said, we don't want to be here anymore. So we went off site, we discussed what do we do. And we realized that we didn't like our culture anymore. We didn't want to be working in our own company that we worked in. So we came back and we really started to build Nurse Next Door from the ground up after that sort of epiphanous moment where we had this realization, and what we created out of that was the words that you now see, our core values as the foundation of our culture, our purpose, our painted picture. We realized that if we really wanted to build a world-class company, we had to build a world-class culture first, because the only way you build a great brand is by building it in the inside first. And that is why you see all the words on the wall.
And just on our core values aren't right or wrong. They just, they basically represent who we are. So John and I always had these core values. We just didn't know what they were at the time, like Johnny mentioned. And so when we actually put words to it, when we defined who we were, that's when we could really figure out what we wanted to look like and who we wanted to bring on board. Funny thing to note, when we first started on this process, we were ranked the number 72nd company to work at in BC. 3 years later, we were the number 1 company in BC. And we really didn't change anything. We didn't have to, go through a personality overhaul between John and myself. We just, we were the people that we always were. We just defined who we were, and we started to bring on like-minded people. So at Nurse Next Door, like Johnny mentioned, you can't really fake it. They are the non-negotiable laws of our organization. We'll free up anyone's future who doesn't live them. We'll suffer a huge financial hit to live them as well.
Everybody you meet within Nurse Next Door, every franchise partner across the country, every caregiver, they're all aligned, they all share our core values and really live. I mean, some of us are fanatics about our core values.
To be honest with you, John and I are really focused on our big, hairy, audacious goal of making 1 million lives better. We know if we live our purpose of making lives better, we fulfill on one of our goals of having Nurse Next Door ranked as the best place to work at in North America, and we make 1 million lives better, all that other stuff is going to fall into place.
And we just have to keep doing what we're doing. We're a national company now. We have demographics on our side. The home healthcare space is one of the fastest growing industries in North America. We all know, or probably know, how our country is changing and how the US is changing and how so many other countries are changing in the next 20 years. And we really are going to have a major healthcare crisis at some point due to lack of finances, lack of money, and the demographics. So we're in a pretty high growth business. And for us, we have to become an international player. So we're expanding into the US. And to get to that 1 million lives, which is our big, hairy, audacious goal, and we've impacted 1 million lives a year, that's what we're really aiming for. And to do that, we have demographics on our side, we have the market on our side, and we just have to execute. And the right person to become a franchise partner. So we've franchised. That's how we've expanded across Canada. It's how we're expanding into the US. To be the right franchise partner for us, I mean, you have to love this business. You can't just be a business person. You have to be a business person with purpose and, of course, in alignment with our core values. That's the right fit. And so, for that right person, it's an awesome business. It's building a business with a heart. So you can make money, and you're actually driving purpose and building a business with a heart.
And I think that's a great point. This isn't just a business opportunity. The people that look at Nurse Next Door as just another financial transaction, they're not going to do very well here. They won't get our core values, they won't get our purpose, and they won't really care. And they might as well open up a donut store or a coffee shop. There's nothing wrong with them, they just don't fit here. The people that are totally purpose-driven, you'll find that they get to live their purpose every single day, and they have the support of our whole system, and they'll love what they do. But from a financial point of view, it turns out they'll actually do incredibly well.
Hey, being an entrepreneur is hard. There are lots of roller coasters. Every day you have your life on the line, your house on the line, your marriage in some cases on the line. And I really think to get through that, what we call the bottom of the roller coaster, those really hard days or hard months or hard weeks, it's purpose that drives you through it. And so if you really want to be a successful entrepreneur, and for us to find successful franchise partners, you have to have the purpose.